Thank you all for being here. We're going to get started here in, again, any minute now. We're just let some stragglers jump in, and yeah, we'll get this party started. Talking about online reviews, in particular Google reviews, kind of the importance there, and reputation management today. So happy Thursday. I don't know how many of you have kids, but my kids just got done this week with school, and so yeah, hopefully there's no passing by children noises rolling throughout this webinar. But perfect. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get things started. So again, and for those that may not know who I am, happy Thursday, Mark. Thank you for being here. For those that may not know who I am, Kelsey Outram, CEO, co-founder of Lyft Auto Repair Marketing. And again, we do webinars every single month, regularly, different topics on marketing, just to give everyone as much value and insights that's going on right now. And in particular today, I have had a lot of questions recently in regards to Google reviews, AI responses, everything along those lines. So we're going to be talking about all those things today, and kind of the prevalence and what should be important there. All right, so agenda again. Let me put myself here. We're talking about the power of online reviews overall, why Google reviews in particular matter the most, the foundation and obtaining reviews, and responding to the reviews, and then monitoring and improving your overall review flow. So hopefully this agenda makes sense. And again, hopefully you are all excited to be here. If you are watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. If you can just throw Google reviews in the comments, that'd be great. So that way I know who's watching the replay after this. But so first and foremost, the power of online reviews, and how they impact auto repair shop success. I guess we'll start with a question. Are you aware of the significant role online reviews play in the success of your auto repair shop? So for those that are here, let's put a yes or no in terms of are you good about getting online reviews? So you can rate yourself yes or no in terms of are you good about getting online reviews? Still those in the chat here. Yeah, you got a couple of yeses. We got some nos. We got people saying I'm getting better at it. Perfect. Yes, perfect. Okay, that's what we love to see in terms of we want to make sure it's a regular practice here, and kind of definitely the importance of how it's going to drive your continuing lead flow, if that makes sense. So, all right. So why Google reviews matter? So number one, Google reviews matter because it creates a great first impression. And so for those that have, like, I'm sure you shop on Amazon or you do things online, you go to a restaurant. How many of you read the reviews first? We'll do a number one if yes. Number one if you read the reviews before you go anywhere. Two if you do not. And so I'm gonna guess I'm gonna see an overwhelming amount of ones. And so same thing for the replay. One or two if yes you tend to read the reviews, is one, and two if you do not. So yeah, one. Well, I mean, we have a whole flow of ones kind of just rolling through here, which is to be expected. Definitely, typically, I always expect people to read reviews. I know I'm a big person that I always are hunting through the reviews and reading them before purchasing anything. And so it's going to be the same way for a lot of individuals. And that's where it's very important to have a good first impression for Google based on your reviews. Number two, it gives useful insights to you. So 95% of consumers feel customer service is essential to brand selection and loyalty. And again, these are just from reports online. You can type it in Google. And 60% of customers have higher expectations now than they had a year ago. And so again, people have, it's like a lot of, people don't have patience. And so in terms of they want that immediate gratification of what's populating. They want to make sure that they're seeing a lot of happy people. Unfortunately, there's people that go straight to the bad ones too. And so we're going to be talking about those here later on today. But it's very important to, again, have that a good influx of positive reviews, because it is a big factor in determining if someone will come in or not, especially as we're talking about a shop here. And it's not a small dollar amount they're going to be spending. And so they want to make sure they're going to the right place, and seeing other people talking great about you is going to be a great way to help lessen that fear, and that boundary for individuals to be coming through. And so, and number three, in terms of why Google reviews are, it actually it helps with your SEO ranking. It's not a number one factor, and so I get so many times where people are like, "Hey, I'm the number one shop by far in terms of reviews in my area. Like I have exponentially more reviews than everyone, and that is amazing. That's a great thing to have, but it is not the number one factor that Google's looking at to help you rank better in the system. It's just not. There's a lot of other factors that are going to go in and out, but it definitely does help. And so you want to make sure that you are getting as many reviews as possible, especially positive ones, to increase that rank and increase that trustworthiness within Google. And so a big thing that not many people know is that Google reviews are indexed. And so in terms of Google reads the data just like it would read data on your website, and read data throughout your Google Business profile. It's an indexed portion of it, and thus you want to make sure that ideally a customer is leaving a great review with different data markings, but then also you're going to be responding to those reviews, which again we'll get into a little bit later in terms of how you should be responding. But at the end of the day, it definitely does help. Not the number one factor. Again, I want to make sure it's very clear, not the assumption that just because you have the most 5-star reviews, you're going to be the highest one in the area. It definitely will help you, but it would not mean it's the end all be all to ranking at the top in that 3-pack, especially. Okay. And number 4, in terms of why Google reviews matter, it creates trust and loyalty. And so again, like we kind of hinted on a little bit earlier, it creates that social proof. A lot of people want to go to places that a lot of other people like. I mean, again, in this day and age, there are a lot of people that just follow what is popular, what is trendy, and that's just the way the world is working. And so now it becomes, how do you become that popular, trustworthy source? And again, if you're getting more reviews, that's a lot of social proof online that, again, people know within Google reviews that those can't just be faked. There's different ways where I've seen like, hey, reviews is straight on your website. And yes, it's great to get a review, but how is someone able to know that, oh, is that something that they just typed in themselves, or is this a real customer that actually left a review? It's really hard to delineate in different things. So with Google, you have its own unique brand markings. You know that it's just, again, it's very separate in terms of it does not, there's an unbiased there in terms of how someone can leave a review. Yes, there's ways that people can work around the system, but I think Google does a very good job of locking down on a bunch of the fake reviews and things that are going on there. And so you want to make sure that, again, if there's more people talking about you in the community, people see that, people notice, and they're like, hey, you know what, maybe that's where we should end up going. So you want to make sure you're creating that trust and brand overall. And then number 5, they help you stand out from competitors. So again, for example, if you were to pick, I'm just going to keep going back to a restaurant, but if you were to pick a restaurant that had, say, 5 reviews, and it had like a 4.8 rating, and then you picked a different restaurant that had, say, 175 reviews and a 4.7 rating, which one would you be more likely to choose? I mean, yes, maybe you're feeling risky. You want to, oh, it's a newer restaurant. Let's give it a try. There's a few good reviews there. Or would you want to go to something that's hard and true, and a lot of other people have tested it out well before you, and you're like, you know what, a lot of people are pretty happy? Would you choose that one? More than likely, you're going to choose the one that has that more overall exposure. So again, you want to make sure that you're getting that increased volume to help just stand out from your competition. So the end of the game is to be in that 3-pack. And once you're there, having the most reviews tends to be the leading way to push you over the edge. Now you want to make sure that you're in that 3-pack as consistently as possible, which, if you're unsure of different methods and how to do that, we have done a bunch of webinars. Again, you can go through the YouTube channel and go through different strategies that we have to help support that. But again, one of the big ways are going to be definitely getting Google reviews. Here you can see only 9% of consumers would consider engaging with a business that had a 1 or 2-star average rating. There's not many businesses out there that have a rating that's that low. It's a pretty much immediate skip if they are that low. But really, if there's anything even below a 4-star rating, I would say it's very hard to get over that hurdle for someone because the majority of other businesses around the area, if they're probably going to be averaging in that little above 4-star rating. The sweet spot is definitely going to be 4.5 and above. This is where you're like, you know what? Yeah, someone in their mind is just going to naturally believe what's going on there, especially when your review count total starts creeping up into the triple digits, and then even more so, it's like, okay, they're starting to realize like, yeah, there's a good amount of clout and trust that's baked into that business. And so hopefully that makes sense so far, in terms of the importance of reviews, but definitely Google in particular. And so as I want to call out in terms of, obviously there's different methods and different places to leave reviews. You can leave reviews on Google, you can leave reviews on Facebook, you can leave reviews on Yelp, you can leave reviews straight on your website. Within the auto repair industry, there's different places as well that like SureCritic and things that you can leave reviews. But at the end of the day, majority of your traffic is coming from Google. So that is where all your reviews should go. You should not be funneling it anywhere else because there is not going to be as much value as it would get as if someone left a review on Google. Now, if someone doesn't have a Gmail account and thus they cannot leave a Google review and they're like, hey, I can't leave a review for you. Is there somewhere else I can leave it? Next best place to go is Facebook, because then you'll see that rating also starting to appear in your Google Map listing as well. And again, it helps show that average there. So that's the next best place to go. Next place after that might be Yelp, depending on where you are there. But again, that's going to be a lower factor as well. The main ones, always Google, always push it there. This day and age, pretty much everyone at least has a Gmail account. So someone asked after Google, I said Facebook is where you would potentially want to funnel a review to go. If for whatever reason they do not have a Google account, that's when send it to Facebook. If they also don't have a Facebook account, then again, you're just trying to grasp those straws. Maybe at that point, have them write a review that then you can just pin on a board that's there at the shop or something like that. But more than likely, it's that person's review is not going to go very far if it's not on one of the more mainstream channels. But no worries. Just as any of you have questions, please feel free to ask. For those in the live, I appreciate the time that you've taken to come out of your day to spend time with me and learn a little bit more about this. And I want to answer any and all of your questions. And if you're watching the replay, throw the question in the comments below, and then again I'll jump in there and answer those questions as those come in as well. But again, thank you for those that are here live with me today. All right, so some key Google review stats and kind of what things are looking like. So 63.6% of consumers said that they are likely to check Google reviews before visiting a business location. Again, and these stats again are just straight from different reports that are online. These percentages are going to vary, and you kind of are just gauging what makes the most sense. But I mean, a lot of people read Google reviews, so I would not be surprised if this percentage is much higher, especially in the auto repair industry. Like I mentioned, when we're talking about a business that you're going to visit, that's going to be in their mind a higher ticket price that they're expecting. There's usually a little bit more research that gets involved because they're like, hey, can I trust that my dollar is going to go as far as possible? And so thus you want to make sure that your reviews are very clear and then you're responding in a correct manner. But 93% of users have made buying decisions based on an online review. And so just seeing a review that's there, this percentage is probably heavily weighted by just, again, overall shopping, Amazon, big thing. People read those reviews all the time, but it's going to be the similar kind of psychological dynamic in terms of the consumer. We're just so used to always seeing the reviews and the ratings that are there. If you don't have any reviews, are you even a real business? I mean, granted, yes, there are new businesses that you need to start creating clout with, but you need to start getting those reviews immediately to build it up, because if there's not many reviews there, people sometimes get concerned, sometimes get sketched out in terms of like, okay, is this a safe place that I should even go to? So you want to make sure you're building that presence. 28% of consumers say they have looked up a business's reviews while standing or parked right outside of the building. So even more so there. They went there and you got them there. But what if like just your reviews and things that just didn't correlate and just didn't feel good about it just because of a review? So you want to make sure that, again, you're taking care of the customer in every place that they would look. And your review is going to be a big place where they're gauging how effective you are. Okay. And then I forgot to mention down here, you'll see this little QR code. I mean, it's on every single slide, and I'll talk about it here at the later end. But that's just to go to booking a meeting with us eventually, if you just want to have things scoped out and have a better understanding there. But it'll be there on every slide. So if I apologize if you were looking for it and then it just kind of vanished away. But now let's talk about obtaining reviews from customers and what that should look like. Okay, because that's a big thing. Because obviously I talked about how we need to make sure that you're getting more and more reviews, but how do you get them? And so the foundation that I want to talk about. So first and foremost, claim and optimize your Google Business Profile, or your Google My Business, as it used to be called. It is just your business profile that is on the maps. You want to make sure that you are the owner and you claim that. There's a lot of spam things out there that people can claim your business, and you just got to make sure you're paying attention, but make sure that you again are the owner. If you're watching this video for the first time and you do not have a Google Business Profile listing for your business, create that immediately. That's the first thing that you should definitely be doing. It's very straightforward in terms of the process. Go to business.google.com, and then from there, you'll either link to the email that you have associated with owning your business profile, or if it doesn't, you'll have to create one for the first time. And again, list your business, you go through the verification process, but invaluable in terms of that. If you do not have that, again, honestly, stop watching the video, go and do that step, and get that done. Second, provide exceptional service, because again, people are not going to leave a review if you're not serving them the right way. And then third, knowledgeable team members, and just kind of relaying that across the board, making sure the team is understanding how to make sure that we're getting reviews the right way as well. Okay, so make the process as easy as possible. So at times, if you're telling people, hey, just go and leave me a Google review, there's a lot of people that honestly don't know where to go. They're like, I mean, I see your profile and there's like a button here, but it doesn't lead me there. And people just at times get confused. So you want to make sure you're using a mechanism that is making this as seamless as possible. Sometimes people have a QR code that's like sitting at their shop, or they're even literally like walking them through how to do it on their phone. And that is great. A big thing I'd recommend, though, is trying to get these people to leave their review while they're at home, because you want these indicators to be taking place at home. If you just get a bunch of reviews while you're at the shop, that's great, but you should be ranking pretty well when people are searching near your shop. And like, again, if they're standing outside your shop or in your shop, you should be ranking well already to begin with. And so having that indicator of like, oh yeah, someone was here in this location and left a review doesn't do as much benefit as if someone were at home. So that's where I highly recommend you're leveraging some sort of CRM system. We have one on our end as a part of our all-inclusive marketing program. But in terms of following up with customers, sending them a text, gauging satisfaction, sending them review links, so on and so forth. And the review link, you should just be able to tap on their phone and just should pop up the stars in the comment to make it then submit. Should be very, very quick, very, very easy. You want to be convenient for customers. Again, in this day and age, people do not have patience. And so you want to make sure that whatever it is there is just very seamless, very easy. Second, you want to make sure you're thanking your customers for each and every review. And I'm going to take that a step further, is you want to thank them for what they came in for. And so like I mentioned earlier, Google reviews are indexed within Google. And so thus it helps and supports with SEO. And so you want to make sure that you're thanking them for, say, a model that they came in, that they brought in, and what they came in for, one of the services. We list a couple of services, and they'll just list the same one over and over and over again, because again, you're having this opportunity to leave more data indicators thanking them for their business and coming in and trusting you. And so there's a lot of different AI things now that you can just automatically just pre-populate a review response. You paste it in there. Again, just be careful with relying strictly on an AI response. I would suggest reading that over, making a few edits, and then putting it into the system always, because it's just content in general. It should never be straight AI copy paste and put it in there. If you're the very first one that's doing it, no one else is doing that, so it's totally fine. But again, AI is being leveraged more and more each and every day, which is awesome. Makes all our lives easier, but you don't want to be the same in terms of how things are being generated. Again, these things that create the AI, there's also things that read the AI and understand if it's 100% AI, how much of it is kind of deal. And so you want to make sure that you're not just fully relying on what's there and copying and pasting, because at the end of the day, more than likely, I would say that it would kind of hurt your SEO if you're just reading that solely on its own. Okay. Ask customers for reviews after providing excellent service. So again, you want to just make sure at the bare minimum you are asking, especially on the early onset as you're starting to get that practice of asking for those reviews, and then incentivize reviews by running contests or offering discounts if needed. Again, that's something that you need to be very careful with though, because depending on what you do there, it can be against Google standards to almost bribe a positive review. And so again, you need to be careful with what you do. You can just, again, regardless of what people, you just have to make sure that it isn't set in terms of, hey, only the people that left a great review have a chance to win the contest. Kind of just like, hey, it just reviews in general. You need to make it very general that you didn't do any type of thing that was kind of misleading the reviews that are in there. So yeah, so just be careful with this. I've seen some of these things go wrong in this, so I just want to make sure we call out there. Okay. And so over 60% of consumers are likely to leave a review if the business asks for one. And now, granted, 60% you may think is not that high. That's almost half, one of every two. But again, if you're asking regularly, that's multiple reviews that you're getting a day. Say you get 20 cars that show up that day, and you ask every single one for a review in your workflow. Then you're getting 10 to 12 reviews, potentially all 5-star ones. That's a lot of reviews that you're getting in that day. And so you just want to create that practice. Do not give up. Obviously, not every day will be a great percentage. Maybe some days nobody leaves a review, even though you asked every single one of them. So don't give up. Have that consistency to make sure that you're always having a process to ask. Minor changes to your messaging can get your shop even more reviews. And so sometimes people are a little too direct in terms of how they're asking. And again, it seems more like you're creating a burden on the customer, or you're creating a little bit of pressure going on to have to do something, which is where you want to tweak the messaging, whether it comes in text or whether it comes in person as you're speaking. So an emotional appeal doesn't greatly impact the review response rates. And so again, people either had a good service or they didn't. And so you want to make sure at the end of the day you provided a great service. That's your of the utmost importance, because regardless of what messaging you have, if you do not provide great service for your customers, they are not leaving you good reviews. I don't care how nice you are. At the end of the day, results do matter. Again, communication is very, very important, and it can help lower maybe the perfection that you feel like you always need to have. Like, you're afforded maybe a few mistakes, but at the end of the day, results matter. If you're not consistent in terms of the service that you're producing, all of this is for naught in terms of what we're talking about here. And then you'd be questioning, why am I not getting any good Google reviews? I'm starting to get Google reviews now, but everyone's not leaving me 5-star ones. Well, that's probably speaks more to the service that you're offering. So let's reflect on that. And again, making sure that you're doing the best job to get these to a 5, but understanding what can improve to make sure people are going to leave that. Okay. Include your shop name to increase reviews. Incentivizes inspire more reviews in every industry. Ask a question in the subject line. Avoid using a total uppercase word in your subject line. So this is more in regards to if you're asking through email. But again, what I would highly recommend is making sure the workflow is through text. People read text messages way more often than emails. It doesn't hurt to have it in multiple mediums, but again, the texting way is going to be read way more likely, and again, it's way more convenient for them to be on their phone and just tap on it, and boom, the review availability just is linked right there. So you want to make sure that you're doing those things, and as you're messaging, again, be friendly, accept feedback, try not to be so brash, and kind of almost too emotional in terms of what was said. Some customers, I know you understand that, like, yeah, there's no way to please them. There's no way to make them happy. But again, you do your very best, especially on those bad reviews that may happen to be in there. Okay. And so responding to reviews, perfect. So only 24% of businesses always respond to negative reviews. So again, I'll throw it out there for everyone. How many of you, one, respond to reviews, and then how many of you, two, respond to both the positive and the negative ones. So we'll have some people throw some comments in the chat here. And again, if you're watching the replay, throw in the comments below. If you feel like, nope, I'm not good about responding to reviews, but I need to, or actually I only respond to positive ones, the negative ones give me stress and I try to ignore them, then you can share that too. I want to see that feedback and make sure that I'm understanding what people are doing, and just to help people understand the importance of messaging for both. So, okay, so it looks like a bunch of you are responding to both, which is great. There's a few people that don't respond and they want to work on it. So perfect. That's great to have that awareness. But yes, definitely do not fall in the bucket of only responding to positive ones. Negative ones are, if anything, more important to respond to. And that's where, again, you want to just be as cordial as possible, because a lot of people read those low reviews, and if they see that the business and the owner responded in, again, the most cordial manner, they handle it respectfully, and they can see that, okay, maybe that review response is a little out of hand in terms of like, we don't know what quite went on, and that allows you to kind of share your story, share how you handle things, and sometimes that brings more business in for people when they see how someone handled a 1-star review. So I want to make sure that you do that practice. 1-star reviews are lower, like 1 or 2-star. You do not need to worry about an SEO type of response either. Some people are like, "Oh, should I try to get some keywords in there at least if they left me a horrible review?" No, they do not worry about that in the slightest. Just respond respectfully, and that's where AI can come in play a big hand here, because it's not emotionally attached at all. They just kind of explain the situation. How would you respond to this review? Boom, it will display something for you. You're like, that sounds pretty good. And then you adjust a few words, you put that in there, boom, perfect. That's probably as hands off as you can be emotionally. Some people are like, you know what, I don't care, I'm just going all in. And that could work at times, but again, you just have to be careful when you're dancing on that line, because it's really hard to understand tone as well when you're reading a message. Like, people can read it with an angry mindset, a positive mindset. You have no idea how someone is reading that response, and they could take it completely wrong way than what you meant. And so you want to make sure that you are handling it respectfully. If anything, have someone else read it before you post it and be like, hey, what do you think? Like, is this okay? And they'll be like, okay, I can see how someone might take this the wrong way. Maybe let's edit this word or two. And they're like, okay, fine. And you use that. But that, once something's on the internet, it's there forever. You can't just magically make it disappear. At times, as much as, yeah, you can get a bad review that's fake, you can get those removed, things like that. But if someone screenshots it and it's there before it got removed, and they blast that around on social, again, there's nothing you can do about it. It's there. So you want to make sure how you handle it is going to be the right way. With a response in here, someone responds to all with the negatives, we call and try to find out what went wrong. Yesterday they converted a 1-star to a 5-star in the course of 2 hours, and that is awesome. Again, taking that extra step to just get in front of it and handle it respectfully. And when someone talks on the phone, it's much different when they're a keyboard warrior, and leaving a response of how they felt about the business. And most times it's just a clear understanding of what took place, and there's easy ways that you can go in and handle and fix that. So I love that. Highly recommend it for those that, if you see a bad review and you're like, let's just give this person a call. Let's figure out, well, what is going on, how we can get this fixed. And once you get it fixed, and you kindly ask them, hey, do you think would you mind editing your review? I'm not saying to change it to a 5-star one, but just editing your review, or in terms of how we handle it for you. So that way people can be aware of how we go about doing things. People are again, usually more than respectful to handle those things if after you had a phone call with them. Okay, so that's a great response there. Thank you for sharing that. And then 50% of consumers are confident that they've seen a fake review on Google. And so 100% fake reviews are a thing. Unfortunately, they're the reviews that you'll see that you're like, a name pops in there. You look through all your closed ROs, and you're like, what? Who is this person? Like, they never came in, and they're leaving this horrific review, or maybe they're pretending to be a different name, and that is infuriating and frustrating. I totally understand that that would frustrate me to no end in terms of like someone just kind of what malicious intent leaving a bad review, or someone that had nothing to do with the business and it's just is leaving a fake one because they think they're funny or whatever it may be. You want to make sure that those are being handled the right way. But on the flip side, there's also over the top praise. Sometimes if things are just way too overboard, people are like, okay, this is probably not a real review either. And so and if too many reviews have like this a similar thing that's being said, so like for example, some people coach their people exactly what to say, and thus every single review sounds exactly the same. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure it's just as genuine as possible. You can tell them if you want to. Hey, would you mind actually like you can say whatever you want, but if you wouldn't mind throwing in like what you came in for, what vehicle you have, that'd be amazing. And that again is a super powerful way to have the customer leave a review that way. But then also if it's posted by an anonymous user, people tend to not believe it at all. And so hopefully people have real things in there. But definitely do not give yourself fake reviews, and do not get, say, other shop owners to leave you a review just because you're friends. You want people in town that are real customers to leave you a review. So now if you're starting to get places all over the country leaving a review for an auto repair shop where they're not driving across the country to go to your auto repair shop, then at times that can start flagging Google, especially if there's too many that happens at one time. Because some people are like, maybe they get spammed by a few bad negatives, like, hey, I want this to go away. Please help me, and kind of drown these out by leaving a bunch of 5-star reviews. And it is awesome that people are willing to jump in and help. But if too many people are jumping in and leaving 5 stars at one time, and they're from all different directions all over the nation, your Google business profile will be at risk to getting flagged, getting suspended, just because again, it just looks like something malicious is going on with your profile. So just be very careful with that. There are ways to again handle fake reviews. You can rebuttal them, you can file them. Do they always get removed? No, but there's a process that you can go through in terms of again flagging a review. There's a list of ones to mark as what was wrong. The best option is off topic. And so again, that there's going to be a whole list of options that are there. Maybe some other options fit more than others. Just pick off topic. We've seen it give us the highest likelihood of the review being removed. And so that's just my one definitely cheat code in the sense of like, if it has to be a real fake review now. Like it can't be just someone that did show up and you just didn't like the review and you try to flag it. Don't do that practice. But if it was genuinely like, hey, yeah, I have no idea what this is, you can flag it and then just mark it as the off-topic option and give you the highest likelihood of, at least in our opinion, as we've seen things to get taken off of your account there. Okay. And so monitoring and improve. And so you use your users' feedback. They're a clear way to show you how you can improve process. Ideally, you want that to happen before the review takes place. And so having that communication through your CRM platform, through texting them, and again, gauging their satisfaction and nipping that in the bud before a bad review can be left is going to be more beneficial. Because again, one, you don't have to worry about the stress of it being blasted online, but then two, you're potentially winning that customer back and again, talking with them. Like someone messaged in terms of calling after a review, that is amazing. But if we can address that before they even left a review, because you were just made aware through your normal protocol and normal process of like, yep, let's check in, let's follow up after the car. Nope, they're still not happy. Okay, what's going on? Let's figure out how we get this fixed. Boom, all of a sudden they're super happy. Like, you know what, great. I am definitely coming back to you guys next time because you guys handle this way better than I expected. So you just want to create that process but if you don't monitor it, then you have no idea how to improve things, what's going on. So just make sure you're regularly taking a look there, or if someone like a marketing team is looking at that for you, or someone else on your team is looking at that, just make sure that you're giving regular feedback in terms of what is populating. Are there things that are going to help us improve as a company? Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So that is going to be it across the board for Google reviews and online reputation. Are there any questions in terms of what we went over today that I can help answer? We can go more in depth on any of the slides. And again, for those in the replay, please leave your questions below. I'll make sure I answer those. But those that are here live, any particular questions, concerns, thoughts, maybe if you disagree totally with what I said, I'd love to hear it, and have a discussion about it as well. But I'll keep an eye on the chat, so feel free to drop things in the chat as we go along here. But for those that are interested in kind of having a review of what's going on with your online presence, both your reviews, along with, hey, I'm not even ranking in the maps, and I'm not sure what's going on. My call volume's low. We do free strategy sessions, so we'll meet one-on-one in a Zoom call. We'll review your entire account, see both positives, negatives, what some recommendations of things to improve upon, and that you can potentially do yourself, that you can bring back to your marketing company and say, hey, are there things that can be improved? These are things that we do in the session. You can book a meeting through the QR code. You can give us a call here at this line. You can shoot us an email. You can visit us here and on the website to book a strategy session as well on there. So multiple different ways to reach us. Message on Facebook as well, if that's what you want to do, whatever works best for you, if you're seeing that this may be of benefit. Do Google reviews stay on indefinitely or drop off in years or decades? That's a great question. Again, at times there's no rhyme or reason when sometimes reviews, they almost seem to refresh and go away at times, but there's nothing stated by Google saying that things vanish over a specific time frame. Because I've seen some reviews that are like literally, it seems like right when Google came out, then that was the first review that ever existed, kind of deal, because it was so long ago. So there isn't any sort of time frame. At times, yes, I have seen reviews drop off, and for whatever reason, again, very unsure of why Google does the things that they do at times in terms of how its algorithm is reading certain reviews. Again, if it starts seeing, maybe it sees too many reviews close together that again seems spam-like, then eventually maybe you might see those disappear. But that's a great overall question. Another thing on top of that, where some people ask, like, if they've already left a review, should I send them a link to leave another? And so what I would recommend, if it's been more than a year since they left their review, have them leave another one. All it'll do is update it in their profile, and so they'll just show that they left the review now more recently. And again, you want those recent reviews. You don't want to just rely on super old reviews to carry the clout, because Google definitely has a recency bias in terms of what is going on in your profile. And so if you're like, you know what, all our great customers already left reviews, so I have no one else to ask for the next 6 months, that's a long time to not have any new reviews. And so you want to make sure that you can still ask old ones to give you updates. Okay. And so we also have a free marketing checklist here that just kind of reviews your overall online presence, just making sure you have all the main primary bells and whistles attached to what you have going on. And that way, if you don't, and you have a question, please feel free to reach out. But if you go to go.liftautorepairmarketing.com/marketing checklist, you can find it there. Also, if you go straight to our main website, you scroll down, you'll be able to see it linked on there as well. Okay. And then we also have a pretty big Facebook group, Auto Repair Shop Owners Mastermind. I think 1.6, 1.7K in terms of members that are in there. So if you're not already in there, please go ahead and join. We'd love to have you kind of chatting about, yes, we'll put in the latest and greatest things for marketing, what we're seeing, but also, I mean, just auto repair shop owners helping each other out, things that are going on, positives, negatives, so on and so forth. And then we also have a book. And so I've been bad about marketing it ourselves. My wife and I wrote a book at the beginning of last year called Drive More Business. You can buy it on Amazon. It is right here on the shelf. But again, it's step-by-step guide, walks through the different aspects of online marketing, what you can take care of and do there if you want to snag that, and help yourself out and see if any other questions. It's kind of all our webinars combined into one, kind of like an online copy of a book. Okay, so that is everything today. If you have any new questions, or if I somehow missed a question that you had, I apologize. But again, you can shoot me a direct message after this, or leave a comment on the YouTube video once the replay goes up. But again, I thank you all for spending time with me today. Hopefully this was helpful, of value here, and we'll push you to be a little bit better about your Google reviews. And so again, I thank you all for being here, and we'll chat again next time. See you guys. Bye.